Here we are talking about content that connects, again, turning visibility into conversation. So what are we doing? First thing I want to do is make sure that I establish what the difference is when we're looking for clients. And a lot of people will think that creating content is an active act, hey, I'm creating content, so I'm going to attract customers. There's a difference between passive and active prospecting. Content is a passive prospecting tool. Content is like advertising. Content is creating a resource or a tool that will give people an opportunity to see you, but it's not active. That outreach part of it that we talked about last week, that is active. Content is a passive component. So if you think, hey, if I just post more content, I'm going to automatically have more leads. That's not necessarily true. You're going to post content so people see you. You're going to post content so that you're visible. And if you do connect with somebody, they know you're legit. But if you don't do the two together, you're really going to have a hard time. You have to have the active outbound or the active conversations in order for the passive to really work. So I want to make sure that we're clear on what these two are. Content is passive. It creates visibility. Think of it as your digital billboard. Maybe it's your website, social media content. Those are the things that content does. It works for you 24/7, so you don't have to be sitting in front of your computer. It's a great tool. Again, it is passive. It's not a active piece. You convert it into conversations by creating that content that connects, but then actually reaching out, commenting on posts, reaching out to somebody, making a phone call. Those are the things that you need to do on top of your content to turn that traffic into actual leads and potential customers. So there's two very different pillars here. Understanding the difference between, hey, I'm spending 10 hours a week doing content. Is that really the best use of your time when you could do it in an hour and spend more of that time actually actively having conversations, reaching out to people, DMing, networking, building relationships? So that is a better use of your time. And we're going to show you how to make content really fast so you don't have to spend a ton of time doing it. And you can spend more of your time actively reaching out to people and connecting and building your network. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Perfect. Okay, so what are the 5 content types in kind of our world that really connect and convert and help to build your brand, build your network, build your communities? It's sharing your story. People love to hear a story. People love to hear, why am I here? What happened? What were you doing that led you into XP? Whether you're a vendor, whether you're an agent, whether you're a customer, it doesn't matter. People love to connect with people and people's stories. So the more stories you can tell, the more you share why you're doing this. Especially if you're an agent and you're recruiting people, it goes a long way to warming people up to the idea of, hey, I want to know more. I may not be sold on it right away, but I want to know more, piquing that curiosity so people can connect. I literally had a conversation with a couple this afternoon about the XP network and getting them in. They're both starting brand new businesses and they need visibility. So I went through the entire story. They're using Thumbtack. They're using the other sites that are out there, and they already understand the pain and the cost. So I didn't have to do a whole lot of convincing for them to be like, I want to know more. But I told them the story. I told them why. And I told them, where I had been and why, when I discovered the XP network, why I thought it was such an incredible opportunity to connect, local networks and local people with the local businesses and help everybody grow together. And they're like, the lights just go off in their head. They're like, oh my God, that's such a great idea, especially when they're paying Thumbtack for leads that suck, or they're paying Angie to get leads that 12 other contractors or 12 other businesses are getting. So being able to share that story and why you're here really will help to slow down or speed up the cold to warm traffic process when you're creating content. And it can be written, it can be video, it can be pictures, whatever, but telling your story often is really going to help when you're creating content. Vendor spotlights, showcasing local businesses that you love, whether you've worked with them, whether you want to work with them, whether you've heard they're great. But again, spotlighting particular vendors in different groups on your profile. Those are all great options. Helpful tips, and this can be when you think of it from the agent perspective, there's a lot of different options. It can be helpful tips for, hey, if you're work from home, if you're a side hustle, if you're a business trying to get more traffic or trying to get more customers, how do I do that? And sharing helpful tips. If it's, if you're looking to help customers connect with, say they need a cleaning business and you want to provide a tip to get leads for cleaning businesses, you can create, hey, how to clean your house in 10 minutes or less when you're having company over. And you can create that, get people interested, and now you can try to connect them with a local cleaning company. So there's so many different angles that you can do by utilizing, helpful tips throughout your content creation. Stuff that's behind the scenes, stuff like what we're doing right now, stuff like what you're doing with Deanna, and you're having the intensive trainings, and you're having all of that stuff. You can take pictures of where you guys are and sharing, hey, this is what we're doing behind the scenes with the XP network to help drive your business, to help attract more people, to help make sure our agents are trained and have the skills to go out and connect with people in your network. So that behind the scenes stuff is super valuable to not just show that, hey, you're doing something, but also, hey, I want to know more about why you guys are doing what you're doing. What is it that you're doing? What's the secret sauce? So sharing that behind the scenes stuff not just shows that this is a real business. This is really what we're doing, but hey, I want to know more about that. So it generates curiosity. And then testimonials. I can't say enough about testimonials. Testimonials and reviews are huge opportunities. You get the more testimonials you have and the more testimonials we have as a network, the easier this is to sell. When you've got 10, 15, 20 people repeatedly saying how great, being an agent is, how great, working with them and how many leads I'm getting and how many customers I've had, that kind of stuff just sells itself. And it makes it so when people have any type of objection, even though the objection should be limited, you just shoot them one of the testimonials that's a business that's similar to them. And you almost can break down that barrier with just one testimonial. And if we can start getting them on video, that's even better. But these are the 5 real kind of pillar content types that if you did these, one type a day and just kept it on repeat, you could have endless amounts of content for your personal profile every single week. And when we add in the AI assistant part of it, it makes it so you can have killer content that is totally different every week and takes literally 10 minutes to put together. So hopefully you guys understand the reason behind it, the types of content, and the why. And then I'll show you when we get into the workshop piece of it, how easy it is to actually put it together. Chris, did you have something?
I'm good.
Okay. So, and then here's just a really quick example of what a weekly content calendar could look like. Monday, you share your story. Tuesday, business tips. Wednesday, a vendor spotlight. Thursday is a little bit of behind the scenes. Again, sharing a picture that you took a week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. And then Friday is sharing results. Friday is a great day for results because it makes people feel good going into the weekend. And then another good opportunity is, Saturday or Sunday to share, hey, what you're doing or how you're getting ready for the week and stuff like that. So just consistency is the key here. You don't have to bury yourself in content and feel like you're a content creator because nobody's here for that. But it helps when you create content often enough, it allows you to be seen. And the more often you're seen, people are going to start to recognize your name, recognize your business. And now you get almost that Nike effect or that Apple effect where people start to see you on social media often enough that you're like, they just know who you are, even though you've never talked to them. So then when you actually do get on a call with them, they feel like they know you. And they feel like, hey, I've been seeing your content for weeks. And now they feel like they have a knowledge of who you are. And it warms that process up and it makes it so they're much more likely to have a conversation with you. So group engagement strategy. So not only do we want to create content for our personal profiles, for our business pages, and I always recommend your personal profile is your primary driver for engagement because the way Facebook works is Facebook will not push your business page. If you have a business page, Facebook is not going to push it unless you're paying for ads. That's just the way it works. Facebook wants to make money. They make money off of ads. So they are going to push your business page only when you're running ads. But they love engagement. So your personal profile is where you're going to get all your engagement from. So again, you want both, especially if you're running, if you're a vendor or you're running a business and you've got a service, absolutely you need a business page. Post on both, but your personal profile is your primary driver. And then you want to be in groups. You want to be in local groups, and we'll jump into this in a minute. And I'll show you, how I find some of the groups and some of the groups. If I don't know what to do or where to go, I'll show you how to find those. But you want to have daily engagement in a couple of groups. 2 posts. You want to, answer a question, jump in on somebody's post, provide some type of insight, or if you don't see anything, you can manufacture kind of an engagement as far as, hey, somebody was asking for a local handyman and, do you have any recommendations? And now you start getting people that are, jumping in, and now those are either people that are looking for it or potential businesses that you could connect with and offer them an opportunity to get listed in the network. So there's no end to these different groups as to how many leads and how many people you can connect with. It's just being engaged with those groups. And again, it doesn't take a ton of time. Just have part of your daily routine. See, again, posting and commenting and posting, looking for recommendations. If people are looking for recommendations, that's a great opportunity. And I had one that hopefully I'll be able to pull it up again. I doubt it. You know how Facebook is. Everything just kind of disappears on you. But there was a post that I saw earlier today that was really, really solid for an opportunity that this person needs to be in our network. And I copied it and pasted it into one of my notes folders because I'm going to reach out to him because he clearly needs help. But I'll show you that here in a second. And the key thing to remember is we're here to add value in these groups. If you jump in there and you're spamming and trying to sell every 2 seconds and it just comes across as a pitch every time, one of 2 things is going to happen. You're going to get banned. They're going to kick you out of the group and you won't get back in, or the people are just going to scroll past you. I post a lot, and I can't tell you how many times I see somebody comment on my post about something like Bitcoin or, we do something else. And it's like, that has nothing to do with it. They're just trying to get visibility because they know my post is connecting with their people. So don't be that person. Comment, post, do something that's value added, just so that, again, they see your name. The more often you're in there, the more likely they are to see your name. And if the group owners see you as a valuable member, when you reach out to them to say, hey, I can help you monetize your group, they're much more likely to work with you. So there's thousands of Facebook groups out there. Use them, and they've already got audiences that need our service. They need the network. So here's a quick example of a post. Hey, one of my vendors is fully booked thanks to this directory. Want to get listed? It's free. It's curiosity. People don't know. They just know that vendor is fully booked. And you could even use, hey, my vendor, and you could say my type of vendor, whether it's a handyman, landscaper, restaurant, whatever it is, say, hey, they're fully booked thanks to this directory. Hey, do you want to get listed? It's totally free. You post that, now you're going to start getting people that are like, what are you talking about? I wish I was totally booked. I need customers. How do I get that? And now, again, it's just driving curiosity. And what are you doing? What are you doing differently? Because they're all looking for it. And then groups to target. How do I target different groups? Local business networks. So I think each one is going to be a little different based on what you're looking for. If I'm looking for agents, I'd probably go more the business network. I'd go for, moms. I'd go for, work from home opportunities. Those are potential areas for agents that you could look for. Business owners are obviously a good agent too, but if I'm looking for somebody that wants a side hustle or wants to get additional income, business networks, people open for opportunities. Community recommendation groups, these are great for just overall community groups. They're great to connect with businesses, with people that are looking for services, and then industry-specific forums. You'll see a lot of contractors in DFW, contractors in Austin, San Antonio, and those people are desperate for work in most cases. So going in there and again, not pitching all the time, but asking questions and then doing an occasional post is a great opportunity to connect with people that are in industries. And you can find it for landscaping, housekeeping, restaurants. I don't care what the business is, what the service is, you can find one that's dedicated to that in every community. Pressure washing, junk removal, they're everywhere. The the only problem that you'll have is you'll find too many groups. That's the only thing, and it becomes it becomes overwhelming because there are so many options out there, and you're like, oh my God, I need to be in all of them. Dial it back, pick the ones that you're going to have the most traction with, and work with those. Hopefully, this makes sense to everybody. So again, back to our power hour. We're going to continue to drive this home every single week because I don't want people to get bogged down. I want people to be able to make progress and move forward. If you feel like, oh my God, it's so much, I can't do that. I can't dedicate 5 hours a day to doing this. Don't. Do what you can. Break it up. You need to make a post. Super easy. Again, I create a week's worth of content in one day. You could do you could do 2 weeks worth of content literally in 20 minutes with what I'm going to show you here in a second. But post one of the types of content. Comment in a group or engage in a group. A couple of relevant conversations. Again, doesn't have to be every group. Just find a couple and do it. Send outbound messages, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a DM, a text message, reaching out to somebody that you know, knocking on a door, directly engage with somebody. You have to have your outbound communication every single day. If you don't do this, you are going to struggle. Your pipeline's going to be dry. You're not going to have the opportunity. You have to outreach to people. And then you also have to follow up with people. And that's the last one. It says leverage the AI assistant, but that AI assistant's to help you. How do I follow up? When do I follow up? Who do I follow up with? Making sure that you're tracking it on your sheet of paper and you're following up with those people. What are the messages? How do I do it? Because you need to reach out to 3 to 5 people, businesses a day, but you also need to follow up with those people that didn't reply. If they replied back and said, hey, I'm not interested, perfect. That's cool. It's not a good time. I get it. They'll still see your content. But the ones that didn't reply or you're still in a conversation, you need to follow up with them every single day. Side note, but the importance of follow up. I have a lead that came in to the gym, I want to say a week ago. Lead came in, they filled out the opt-in form on our website, and they asked for information. It took 11 messages out to that person for them to even reply. How many people do you know that are going to reach out to somebody 11 times before they reply, before you just say, forget it, I'm done? Nobody's going to do that. I've got an automated system that does it for me because I probably wouldn't do it either. But literally, I went through and counted the messages, and it took 11 attempts to get that person just to reply. And you know what? We booked them for a class. So the follow-up is critical to what we're doing. Whether you're running a business or whether you're an agent building your business and building your network, follow-up is what makes the difference between somebody who's pretty good to somebody who's killing it. And I can't emphasize that enough. So where do we find our people? Where do we find our, the people that we want to work with, the people that we want to, to really connect with, bring into the circle and make them part of the XP family? So we've got vendors and customers and agents. Those are really the 3 places that we're looking. And it's not all online. We want online, we want offline. We want to be able to connect with these people where they are. So where do we look? Vendors, your Facebook groups. I talked about this a second ago. Your business groups, chambers of commerce, local storefronts, any place where you see people that are running a business or have a business. These are places that you can connect. Talk to them, tell them what the opportunities are, and find out, hey, are you looking for ways to get more visibility and more customers to your business? Answer is yes, 100% every single time. Everybody needs visibility. Everybody needs customers. If they tell you no, they just haven't seen enough of you to understand that they really do. It's just they're saying no because that's an objection because they don't want to talk about marketing. That's fine. They're not ready yet. but everybody needs visibility. Even if they say they have a full schedule, is your full schedule full of people that you really want to work with? Or are you taking jobs that are probably not the best jobs because you need the schedule? Go ahead, Chris.
Well, actually, adding in that point, one of the things that I like to share, that I share normally in all my trainings, where we found those vendors, and you're right, social media, chambers of commerce, local storefronts, but at the same time, you still can go on the old school. You still can go to HEB and you go to the rack where all the magazines, you got a bunch of magazines, even the Yellow Pages book is still there. And the way that I like to the way that I do, normally like to get a phone call, right? And say, hey, you know what? I see you advertising in this place. I'm a business developer. I work with a company. We connect people with business, and I like to know more about your business. I mean, you can work in a lot of different ways. It all depends. You got to be make sure the wording that you use, like you said before, you don't definitely want to show in absolutely anything, and they can feel that you want to sell something. You just want to show them that you are interested in, a little bit more about their business, because this is what you do. We connect customers, with business, and I'm interested to know a little bit more about your business, but it's a limited way how. So this is not excuse enough that you can now found actually potential vendors, because there's so many different places. Another way, when you go to networking events. I know the networking event is not with intention for you to go and pitch anybody, but go and exchange as many, business card you can. Just exchange it. So that way they give you the time for you to call them back and say, hey, this is Chris. I have opportunity to meet you at this event. And I would like to know more about your business. Maybe you have a few more minutes so you can explain it to me. So there's a lot of different ways that you always can fulfill the pipeline. I just want to add that up because I'm using that in my trainings as well.
Yeah, 100%. I actually talked to a lady in Phoenix today that is using print, and she's canceling her print because it's not working. Of course, I told her about the XP network, and we're getting, talking about getting her listed and all of those things. But these people are still using it, and she's telling me that it's not effective. They haven't got one lead from it, nothing, but they're still paying for it. Why? Because they're desperate for attention and they're desperate for leads.
Correct.
Okay, and then customers. I think we all know where customers are, but it's worth saying. You know, customers is going to be really the lifeblood of this, is making sure that we have enough customers to give to the vendors so that the vendors get, the leads that they need and they get the opportunities they need to build their businesses. Where can you find them? Threads, DMs, school pickup zones, community events, wherever you are, where there's people that you could potentially talk to, that you hear, hey, I'm looking for a handyman, or hey, I'm looking for a landscaper, or I need somebody that's going to clean the house, or I'm looking for a roofer, a contractor doing remodeling. All of those things, those are community events. Those are people that could potentially be a customer for somebody in our network, or it gives us an opportunity to say, you know what? I know somebody that needs a roofing company, but I don't have one in my network that's close by. Maybe now I can reach out to roofers and say, hey, I've got people that are looking for you. I'd love to get you in our network so that we can get you set up and get your referrals. So there's lots of opportunities. Just keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. People are looking all the time. And then agents, obviously, social media, churches, stores, schools, activities, any place that you're at where people are having conversations, and professional events, again, networking events, anything where people are congregating, where they're talking about what they're doing and what their businesses are, and if they're open to opportunities about, hey, do you like the idea of connecting businesses? Have you ever referred somebody to another business? Well, you're halfway there. We can help you make that a little easier, and you get paid for it at the same time. So there's lots of different opportunities here. Why do I focus on social media for this? Because of the leverage. We talked about the offline stuff, but social media, digital, gives us leverage that we could never have. If you were to go out and talk to vendors face to face, you could only have so many conversations a day. If I use social media, I can reach out to 50 a day. I couldn't do that if I was literally going from business to business. So that's why the combination of online and offline is a huge leverage opportunity because you get to touch so many more people and then work them to the point where you're going to have an actual conversation about, how do we get you in the network? How do we get you started? How do we help you out? So hopefully that makes sense and everybody's good with that. So what do? We don't want to leave any training, any session without having action. We want to be able to say, hey, I got value out of that. What did we do? What are we doing next? So here's our action plan. And then once I get done with this is the last slide, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to show you how to do some of these things. So you're going to post. You're going to do at least one post right after this. Use the AI tool to create some type of engaging post and post it. If you haven't used it already, now's your opportunity. You're going to use it. So create a post, talk about what you're doing, who you are, whatever it is. And then you're going to look for a couple of groups, or maybe it's a community group or whatever, find opportunities to add value in the groups. And if you can't find a post that is asking for something, I can show you how to manufacture it so you can manufacture the engagement. Message one prospect. Reach out to a vendor or an agent personally that you've thought about talking to, or maybe you've, kind of been putting off. Reach out to them, send them a message, make a phone call, whatever it is. Do that one thing to connect with a prospect. And then celebrate your wins. I haven't seen enough wins being celebrated in the XP Facebook group. Share it. Something happens, get in there and post about it. If it's good, if it, hey, I shared my first post, I, got my first listing, I, talked to, 5 agents this week that are ready to get started, whatever it is, share that stuff, help build up the energy in the Facebook group, because that's where we're really going to use that a lot to help nurture and bring people in. So this is your plan. Start executing on the plan. And I'm going to show you right after this how to kind of work through these things and knock them off without getting bogged down and without it taking any time. So everybody good with that? Cool. All right. So let me grab my notes. All right. So this is, let me scroll up to so this is our AI agent, our AI assistant. Super smart, ton of information, got way more information than I'll ever have. And this is where I'm going to get started. Now, you don't have to be any type of techie person in order to get good results out of this. What I want to do is I want to kind of work through the things that we talked about. Posting one thing on social media. So the first thing I want to do is I want to let it know who I am and who I'm trying to target my post to. Because the better you set up the information, the better results you're going to get. If I just set generic things like, hey, I want to create a post, it's going to create one that's okay. But if I say, hey, let's do this. Hey, I want to tell it who I am. And I'm an agent. I want to create a recruiting post, to connect with vendors. And if I knew the specific type of vendors, if I was looking for roofers or a specific type, it would even be better. So let's say connect with, let's just do roofers.
Home service providers.
Well, I would even get more specific than that because you can go,
Yep.
you can go that
that.
next layer down because home service providers could be
That's
a
huge.
handyman,
Yeah,
landscaper.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many in there. So
Yes,
if
sir.
you got somebody specific you're trying to connect with, it makes the content better. And that's, I mean, you could use that. I'm just going to go down a level just for this purpose.
I agree.
So here is a post that I could put in a roofing group. I could put on my own personal profile. If you're doing a roofing group, you want to make sure that you're careful as to, hey, what the rules are. So you're not, feeling like you're doing something that that's against the rules and they get you banned. But here's a really good opportunity to create a post. Roofers, why does this work? Because it calls out exactly who you're looking for. What if referrals came to you and paid you back? I work with a platform that connects local pros with real community support, not ads, not cold leads. If you want more visibility, like getting paid after the job closes, not oh likes getting paid after the job closes. I would probably change that.
Yeah.
Could use a sidekick. Yeah, this is not exactly what I would say. I would probably reword this and just
Yes.
say, hey, no, this isn't what I'm looking for. And that's the one thing about the tool you have to learn as you're using it. Say, hey, this is not really what I'm looking for.
That's why it's extremely important for you guys to use it because it allows at the same time to train more the AI.
Yeah. Um, so, and again, this is just the more you do this, the better you're going to get. And we're doing it live. So, who knows what we're going to see as we put this together.
I love it.
So I think it got this a little better. So, hey, only pay for referral fees when the job actually closes. When you talk to these businesses, one of their biggest heartburns is they're paying for leads that they don't actually sell.
Yep.
I talked to the cleaning lady that I talked to earlier today. She's like, we spent $90 on leads last week that they were garbage leads. They were trash. And the what separates the XP network for these people in their mind is that they have to pay for those leads if they're using Angie or Thumbtack or whatever. But with us, they're not paying for a lead unless that job sells. So that's a totally different opportunity for them that just blows their mind. They're like, oh my God, I love that. Just that one thing alone changes their approach. It makes them more interested. And then, hey, you're promoted by real people like me in your area. No catch, no contract, just real results from community connections. If you want to get your listing and test it out, drop me a DM. This is super easy, very casual, and you can change the tone. So, hey, if I want to say, one of the other things I would have probably done at the beginning is tell them my platform. Because based on the type of platform, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, or Facebook, it formulates the content differently to match the platform. Again, and it just tweaks it up a little bit and makes it a little bit more Facebook friendly. If I say I want to just make it a little more fun, I'd say, hey, punch up the copy, and it's going to change the tone. It's going to change the way it's written, and you can make it more direct. You can make it more casual, more fun. However, roofers tired of paying for leads that go nowhere. What if you could get real jobs from local referrals and only pay after the deal closes? I mean, that headline alone is a really solid lead in, and that's what you need. You need something. The first two lines, if you're not getting their attention in the first two lines, you're done. They're not going to look at anything else. So this is let's see. So it can also give you visuals or ideas for visuals for your post. One thing I want to recommend when you are doing post, you can ask this to say, hey, give me ideas for the visuals to use when you're creating the content. And it will tell you, hey, use a image of your face, a smiling face having coffee, or doing something along those lines, kind of behind the scenes, or a picture of a work site, whatever it may be. Use as much as you can, use pictures of your face or people's faces because people connect with people's faces. People like to see people smiling. They like to see people doing things. And the more of that you can do, as opposed to just a lawn or just, a piece of art or somebody's house, the more faces you have in it, it's going to stop people. People will stop the scroll if they see a face more often than they're going to see, something else. So just something to keep in mind when you're creating content and posting. So if you don't like cameras, get used to it. Let's see. All right. So this is great. Let's create a week's worth of recruiting post. And it immediately goes to, hey, it knows roofers, plumbers, salon owners. It's got different angles for different days, value, curiosity, testimonials. So it helps to give you the ideas of what you're posting and when. Day one, value post. Hey, local business owners want more referrals. Again, you could tighten this up based on the type of business. Educational, how to. Vendor story. This is your social proof. These are your testimonials. Lifetime or lifestyle. You work too hard to waste your time chasing bad leads. Get promoted through the local XP network. Awesome. Comparison, why XP beats the old way. Angie, pay per lead, Yelp, compete with 20 other listings. XP is free. Can't beat that. Day 6 and day 7. Okay, so literally took me 3 seconds to get this idea, these 7 days worth of content. And this was all targeted to recruiting. So if I wanted to change it up, say, this is good. Now let's pivot to recruiting agents. What if your side hustle actually helped your community? I'm not a marketer. I'm not a salesperson. That's what, those are great. And these are just kind of the top level ideas. And then when you want to create the content, you just say, hey, this is great. Create the post for day 2. And it goes in and it creates the post for you. So it's super, super easy to do. And literally this gave me, 2 weeks worth of content to post. It's just a matter of now I just need to post it. And then if I want to say, hey, give me ideas for images to go along with the post. And it'll give image ideas, and it's almost always going to go to the number one is real you, real life. Photos of you smiling, being at coffee, whatever. But the more pictures you have of you, or a lot of the before and after vibes are really good. The other one that works really, really well are these text blocks. These I use every day, and I'll show you in my feed. These text block posts are some of the most effective posts you're going to have. So I do these a lot because they draw attention and they're easy to see and they stand out in the feed. So I would absolutely use those. But the key thing to remember is don't get stuck. If you have questions or you don't know, just ask. It's going to help you come up with the ideas to get you moving and get you unstuck. The one thing I would avoid is too many Canva templated images. I would stay away from them. The more raw images, more raw videos work better than the templates in Canva in social media because they look like an ad. What do you do when you see an ad? You scroll. So the whole idea here is to stop the scroll and your face or before and after photos of really cool projects or something that's happening catches people's attention as being real more than a highly stylized Canva template. At least that's the way it is right now. Could it be different in 6 months? 100%. But right now, social media changes really fast. Video is another one that's really great. If you don't like video, one of the things that I'll do is if I don't like video, if I'm not going to do video or I know a client's not going to do video, I'll put it in there. Hey, this is for Facebook. We're not doing video. So it doesn't even try to give me prompts to create stories or scripts or reels or any of those things. But if you want to do it, you can absolutely create videos too. All right, so what's the other one? So we've created a plan. We've created, content to target, different types of people, agents, vendors. You can do the same thing for um, customers. But how do I find the groups that I want to connect with? So Facebook makes it really easy. Um, some of these posts that you see are crazy, but anyway, so Facebook makes it super easy to find groups. So say I want to find um, contractors in Austin. Literally, all I do is hit that, say groups, and it's going to give me more groups than I could possibly want. But what am I going to look for? I'm going to look for, the private groups can be tough to get into. Doesn't mean you can't. Sometimes it can be tough, but public groups, 10,000 contractors. They've got 10 posts a day. It's worth checking out. Austin, local contractors helping the community. This may be a great opportunity to connect with them. So, and you can look for almost every single type. There's landscapers, there's pressure washers, junk removal. Almost every group you can look for is here. So that's how I find my groups. That's the best way to do it. And then once I'm in the groups, okay, great. So now I've got my groups. Let's see. So here's one, general contractors. And I could see, hey, these groups, all of these people are looking for business. If they're posting in these groups, these people need customers. So here's a great opportunity to make a post in here of, hey, we're helping people get found, we're helping people get listed, and you'll get people that will reply to that. But it's also a good opportunity when you see people that are looking for help that you can hop on there and say, hey, I've got a great way to get you listed and get you more business. And if you don't know, let's see. So here's a ninja hack for AI. Actually, I want to move this over. I want to get his name. So I'm going to grab this image of this post. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into chat, or I'm going to go into here. I'm going to paste this in, and I'm going to say, I want to reach out to this business owner. What should I say and how? So it's literally going to look at it. It's going to say, hey, this is a perfect business to connect with. It's got his name. He's clearly doing quality work. So here's a direct message you can send him right away. And it gives me, hey, here's a message that I could send him. So again, I don't even have to think about it. It's giving me the message. And even if I don't like the message right away, I could say, hey, this is too spammy. It'll give me another message. It'll give me a shorter message. And it's going to make it more human, less pitchy. And now I can reach out to him. I can send this DM to him. And I can also go ahead and drop a comment in here and say, hey, could you give me a comment to drop so that I can let him know I'm going to reach out. So now I've added value. I've given myself an opportunity to reach out, and I've used the AI tool to help come up with the message. I didn't even have to think about it on my own. I just read through it, make sure it makes sense. So
Very cool.
I think I've touched on as much as I can today to cover all of the aspects to get people moving and to keep from getting stuck and allow you to have really good opportunities for outreach.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's always. I mean, we are uploading this to the YouTube channel, right?
Correct. Yep.
Can you send me that PowerPoint whenever you have a chance so we can translate it in Spanish and get it ready for training in Spanish?
Yeah, I translate them all and send them over to.
Oh, so Diana already has it,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Perfect. So glad to hear
Can
that.
I add something? Can I say something real quick?
Yep.
Just that I have been myself following, everything that Jody's been teaching us. from changing my Facebook profile picture to posting more often, connecting with. I'm actually every single day sending 20 friend requests, kind of like following all the steps that I mean, all the guidance, all the information that we've been receiving here is for us to put it to work. If not, it's not going to work. But I was surprised today because we started this 2 weeks ago, and I was stuck with I believe 850 friends for years, and then I started doing this, and I just noticed today that I have a 1,200 followers, in less than 2 weeks. So I was like,
Oh,
okay, this is
wow.
definitely working.
Wow,
So
It's
that's
just
crazy.
it,
Great,
it
great.
yeah, that's amazing. And those are the stories we like to hear because I mean, it's when you do the work, when you do the little steps, it's a snowball effect. It may not be right away, but you're building your pipeline, you're building momentum, and it's really hard to slow down once you start seeing it. Once you start seeing the activity and it come back in, it really is effective. So
Pretty
thanks for
awesome.
so
sharing that. I
thank
appreciate that.
thank you so much again for your time and all that you're being, and for everybody on the call, and if you're watching the training, uh, so practice all this, do it because it definitely works.